Hi everyone, my name is Nilgan. I'm a home gardener from Sydney, Australia in the Southern Hemisphere. I'm in a residential, or what you may call an urban area. I am growing in roughly about 200-300 square metres, and most of my roses, I've got about 60 roses at the moment, and most of them are 2 years old, and I've bought them bare root. This is probably the first spring, I could say, first spring and summer that I'll be spending in my garden. I will be giving you a rundown of my roses for the first time. Even though my garden looks a total mess, this is reality. It's not picture perfect, but I'm trying to knuckle down in the next couple of weeks and get it to near picture perfect as much as possible. As I said, my roses are generally bought bare root. They're only 2 years old, and this garden that you see, besides some of the trees, I've got a pomegranate there, Japanese maple, and these lily-pilly hedges there, and obviously the shatut mulberry at the back there. They're, I'd say about 20 years old, but the rest of the garden is relatively new, 2 years and under. So I'd like to go through and talk about what I've got, particularly the roses, but I've got a lot of tasks that I need to complete. We are in the second week of spring. As you can see, I've got my ladder out. I had to, not a perfect job, but I had to trim the hedges, and I did that this week, a couple of days ago, only because we had the green bin go out in my area. You can see just over here, I've got a few bare root fruit trees. This one is the European plum, Robe de Sargent, and I've got another one here, prune de-agent. I really don't know how to pronounce these, but they're both of them a plum, prune, and they're dwarf, because I'm going to be putting them in a pot. And this one's a peacherine, which is a dwarf nectarine. These they're bare root, like I said, they're bare root. They need to go into a pot. I've got some alyssums in here that are way overdue for planting and separating, and so are these foxgloves. I've also got liatris that need to be planted, but they are just some of the jobs I need to get done. I've got some amaryllis and liliums here that need that I found on sale on clearance. They need to be planted. I just bought them yesterday. I've got some pots here from IKEA to put my amaryllis in, but I'll show you those later. Just wanted to start here and go through today. I just want to go through the roses that I have and just talk you through, because I don't believe I have a video about the roses I have. So as I said, this is my second spring and summer spending time in my garden. I'm getting to learn a lot about the roses and companion planting, and like I said, these roses are 2 years old. This is probably the first time I'm getting some really nice lateral shoots on the main canes. As you can see, all these lateral shoots. But unfortunately, last spring and summer, I had to travel overseas and nurse my mother back to health, which meant that a lot of my plants had suffered, the roses had suffered dehydration, and I don't have an irrigation system in, and unfortunately I've only got the one. I've got my son at home who didn't have the time because we had some other issues, like our garage roof collapsing. So they had to demolish the garage, which meant that there was no time to water this massive garden, and I've got a front yard that is probably half the size, if not 3/4 of the size of this. So I'm hoping that I can get these roses back and plants back to great health. I believe I have, because it's the first time I'm ever planting Clematis. And I must say, I need to give credit to the European gardeners, avid gardeners from the US and from the UK that I've been following, and I have been inspired to actually build put together what you see here, because what I had was just plain turf and these hedges. That's all I had, just plain turf and hedges. And all of this is relatively new, like I said, just 2 years old and under. I mean, you can see that the pavers haven't even been placed into the pebble yet, because the pebbles, I need to order more, which I have, and I need to fill that in and that area in, and a little bit more top up around the area. But like I said, everything's relatively new, so there's lots going on at once. And I guess that's how I operate. I'm learning a bit about myself as well. But let's back to today's video. I wanted to go through the roses. I've got a couple of apple trees. They're columnar trees, and a fountain that I need to still install. So this is actually Crown Princess Margarita. It's a David Austin, just down here. And what I want to do is I want to train it against the wire, against this fence, as you can see. Beautiful, beautiful flower that we've got coming up now. So I'm really, really excited. This was in very poor health. But, you know, like, I'm looking forward to bringing them back into, you know, their glory. Over here, I've got a standard, and don't want to give you a headache, and another standard, just a matching standard of Princess Alexandra of Kent. So basically, I've got that one here and the one here. I've also got, on this arch, you can see, I've got the old Wallerton Hall on both ends of the sandstone pots. They were quite damaged. You can see that, you can just see that from the ends of these lateral canes. And I had to actually cut the tips off. They're just not looking too good. But, you know, we're getting some beautiful new growth. The problem I have here is, and maybe someone can help me, but they're sandstone pots, and I've embedded them into the ground, and these arches are basically cemented. It's one of the first pots I've ever planted, and hence the mistake that I've made, which was that I didn't put in more drainage holes. So what I'd like to do, and for the sake of old Wallerton Old Hall, is create more holes, drill down as much as possible and create more holes in the sandstone pot and drill down into the soil. I don't know what equipment or drill bit or piece that I'm meant to be using. I probably need something like 40 centimetres or 50 centimetres long. But that's something that I will look into. If you've got any ideas, it'd be lovely to let me know. I've got a couple of Clematis in here. I've got Josephine, and I've got the multi-blue, but I think I've broken the multi-blue off, and that's fairly new, Clematis, but this is the Josephine. That's actually coming back to life. In these two pots, I've got the Poet's Wife. They're a standard as well. They're looking quite healthy. I've pruned them quite rigorously. It was quite short. Again, I've got a couple of Clematis here on this side of Wallerton Old Hall. I've got the Vagabond and the Violet Elizabeth. And I don't know, I think this is the Violet Elizabeth, pardon me, and it's absolutely going bonkers. Obviously got buds up already. This is relatively new, this one. but it's just doing amazingly well, which is great to see. Again, lots of damage on the rose, which I just need to keep an eye on. I've sort of trimmed it as much as I can without damaging it or taking too much off. Again, the Poet's Wife, just mirroring that standard over here. Again, Poet's Wife, which is a David Austin rose. Here we go. I said the Vagabond, I think. We've got a bloom here. This is relatively, actually this is 2 years old. It's 2 years old in the ground or in the pot. And this is the problem. I think I really do need to drill some more holes into these sandstone pots so that I can somehow crack or place some cracks on the base, allowing the roots to grow through into the ground. Again, just a rookie error. But look at this. Like, I can't believe all of the buds that we've got for this Clematis. I think it might be, look, I'm really excited because growing Clematis in Sydney is not very common. Well, not that I know of anyway. So I'm absolutely stoked and very happy to see this grow and to I think, to be honest, I think I've got about 20 different Clematis. I'm not 100% sure, but I've got a lot. So here we've got the Olivia Rose Austin. This is again David Austin bush form. I've got a Septorile. These two were infested with aphid and scale, so I did clean them up and gave them a good prune. I've just sprayed them with a little bit of lime sulfur this morning. It's the second time, actually third time I'm spraying them with lime sulfur, trying to ensure that I give these guys a good chance of surviving and blooming. So you can see here that I've got the old the leaves, remaining leaves of our spring daffodils. I've got some bearded irises in here. Wouldn't have a clue what they are. Oh, here are the alyssums. So what are they? Good question. Right. Okay, so in this bed, I haven't named the garden beds yet. I've got Ville de Leon, a group 3 Clematis, and again, this is stunning. It's like a hot pink from memory. It's a medium size, if not small. Oh yeah, it's a medium size Clematis. I've got some Peonies. I'm trying out Peonies. I think this, where I live, is potentially too warm for Peonies, but I've got one here and one here. This is about 2 years old, but this one over here, the pink Derby Peony, is new. I've just planted this, I'd say about 3 months ago. But I've got Pat Austin, a 90 centimetre standard Pat Austin here. I've got 2 Roald Dahl bush roses, one here and one here, another David Austin classic. I've got a couple of Earth Angel, one here and one here. Look, these are all looking spectacular and really healthy. Again, I've sprayed them with lime sulfur, and that's what you'll be seeing. And I've just sprinkled some fertilizer. The weather's a little overcast at the moment, so this is Roald Dahl, another Roald Dahl over here. Now, Princess Anne, I'm not too sure about the the general health of Princess Anne. Again, this is a David Austin rose, bush rose, but I've had lots of mildew and scale issues with Princess Anne. Not the best of health. Look, it could also mean that it doesn't get enough air or airflow, because I do have pots on either end of poor Princess Anne, and she does struggle. So I'm going to keep an eye on her. I have cleaned her up, and she did have a lot of scale damage, so I did cut her. You can see that there. I did trim her down quite hard. So I am hoping that she'll be able to recover, which seems to be looking good. Okay, we'll keep going. Again, I've got another clematis. I've got lots of tying and staking to do. So this clematis, I'm not 100% sure. Again, right, this rose that I've got, the climber, is Gertrude and Jekyll. Again, David Austin rose. This was one of the ones that were severely damaged as well. You can see that. I think you can, I'm not too sure if you can see, but there was lots of scale. Yeah, lots of scale and damage. Again, you can see the damage on the main canes. So I'm hoping I can actually revive this. It's looking okay. I'll just go around very slowly. It's looking okay. I mean, that doesn't look very good at all. And neither does that. So I'm not sure if I'm going to get a great result from Gertrude this year. I'll do my best. Okay, and the clematis that we have, I've got 2 clematis here. They're growing really well, very healthy. This one's spectacular actually. One is called the Star of India, this purple one, and I've got another one called Florida's Siboldi, I think, which is this one here. Really interesting, that one. But I will show you that once they bloom. Got a couple of standards mirroring this side of the arbor, the small arbor. Adorable, it's a Floribunda. Smells divine, this one. And there's another one there. They're quite healthy. They're looking really good. Yep. On this side of the small arbor, I have a Claire Austin, and that's doing really, really well. Again, I believe I've got 2 clematis on here as well, as you can see. It's growing really well. Again, this is the second year of these clematis, or at least one of them. If I come around here, I should have a label. Apologies for the head spin. Yep, there you go. A Ken Donson and a Walter Pennell. In fact, I do believe these are both 2 years old. Yep, there it is there. I just need to, and another one just at the back there. So I need to tie and stake these in. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do that on the arbor, because obviously the arbor is, well, this timber's too thick for it to wrap around. So I'm not sure if I was to cut a little bit of wire. If I just move around here. Oh, hello Benji. My avid shadow umbilical cord is still attached. So what I've got is this chicken wire, and what I'm planning to do, and I don't know if it's the right thing or if I'll have problems in the future, but I'm planning on perhaps stapling these across here like that, in one area, just to get the clematis to attach, and maybe go above the arbor in maybe 2 strips, one here and one there. I'm not quite sure, or maybe even wrapping it around, cutting it in half perhaps, or wrapping it around the arbor here. Haven't decided. If you've got any ideas and you'd like to share them with me, I would absolutely love that. I've been doing all of this on my own, and it would be a pleasure to get some advice. So what we've got here, good question. Where are we? Here we go. This is the, I've got a couple of fruity perfumers here, and they're lovely. They're stunning. They're just a beautiful, almost, I wouldn't even call it red. it's like a raspberry colour. I could be wrong, but it's stunning. They're great. Here I've got a Tallulah from Trelaw. Another David Austin. I mean, Tallulah's not a David Austin, but I've got here Munstead Wood. It's a David Austin standard, a 90 centimetre standard. Like I said, that's Tallulah. And this one here is Delightful Parfumer. Now, I remember JJ in the UK had some issues with the blooms of Delightful Parfumer. If I'm not mistaken, Earth Angel was the same for me, and Delightful Parfumer. I just, what the blooms bud up, and it's immensely heavy and full of petals, but it doesn't seem to open completely. It seems to stay closed, and the edges of the petals seem to sort of burn or fuse, and it stays closed. So I do remember vaguely JJ mentioning that he's going to wait another year, and potentially the maturity of the plant may dictate the change in bloom. So I'll be keeping a close eye on that one. But you could see just the foliage is just fruity Parfumer. Like, the foliage is stunning. The red foliage, it's beautiful and so healthy. Again, I have sprayed it with some lime sulfur. Got some beautiful Italian ranunculus. Got some alliums here, as you can see. They're the it'll come to me. I can't remember. It will come to me. Over here, we've got a couple more of the Clematis. These are 2 years old as well. So I've got the Pillow, I believe it is, and this is stunning. It's a two-tone. It's so pretty. The flowers aren't very big, but they're just beautiful. And a multi-blue, and I must say, I think this multi-blue is new. It might be a year old, whereas the Pillow is I'll come around here, is 2 years old. And you can see by maybe by their stem, perhaps, not too sure, but looking forward to their blooms. Just over here, moving slowly, I've got David Austin's Summer Song in this pot. This is new. I've had, as I've mentioned, I've had an issue last year and had to go away for 3 months, and in that period I had 4 David Austin, but 4 roses, bare root roses delivered, and I asked my son to plant them just temporarily in our raised garden bed, so that when I come back I can pot them up. So not too sure if Summer Song was one of them. I think this may be a bare root that's just come this year. But Lady of Shalott was one of those, and I planted Lady of Shalott this year, or a couple of months ago. I'm hoping that it will recover, because when I came back, you wouldn't believe it, and I'll put an image on the screen, but what my son did, he kept the string around the 4 roses, or the stem of the roses, and he's planted all 4 as is into the soil. So what happened is I didn't get around to repotting them quick enough, so they were extremely malnutritioned, damaged. They weren't growing. They weren't in the sun. It was horrible. They were just really horrible to start off with. So I'm really, really hoping that they will recover. I don't know if this is coming up from the rootstock, this one here, because it just seems that the leaves might be too little. I could be wrong, but I'll wait and see. However, one of those unfortunate roses, I'll just move across here, is the elm whip rose. You can see that I had to prune it quite heavily. And again, these, although there's a branch there, I don't know if you can see that underneath. And again, I'd be happy to take any of your advice. Oh, there you go, if you can see that. It's just a branch that stops here, basically. The leaves don't look like true leaves, and I wouldn't know, to be honest. I don't know if it's rootstock leaves again, or if it's just that it's not healthy and it needs to recover. I would be gutted if these two were not to survive. So look, I'm going to keep a close eye on it and do my damned hardest to make sure that it does survive. Pompanella is a new one, so I've planted that in this pot at the moment, so that's looking good. I don't think I've actually pruned that one at all, so I'll just move around and very slowly. The grass is recovering, as you can see, because we had to put in these garden edges, so there was a lot of digging and a lot of work put into it. I will be very quick because I understand that this video is a little long. I've got the 2 David Austin Desdemonas, the standards, 90 centimeters, and they are stunning. Desdemona is one of the most beautiful roses, delicate, elegant, and the scent is just divine. Absolutely stunning, and I can see that it's actually growing really well. These are, obviously you can see that there are aphids on there. Oops. Yep. Yeah. And I will need to spray at some stage. It's an overcast day today, and I'm not sure, do you spray lime sulfur before the buds appear, or can you spray lime sulfur when the flowers are blooming? I'm not sure. This is Fairy Tale Magic. Oh, pardon me. There you go. This is Fairy Tale Magic. It's a beautiful bush rose. Stunning. Again, the Italian ranunculus, they're just beautiful. It's the first year in the ground, as you can see. Just stunning. I did have, again, they've not been able to be, I mean, a lot of the plants here actually died and perished. This is an allium here. What's this one? No, it's a Biden. That's obviously the Biden has died. But this is a white allium, I believe, of some sort. So yeah, so peonies, another peony over here, another peony there. I did have one here and another one there, but they don't seem to have survived. It's a shame. But yeah, like a lot of my plants have perished over that period where I wasn't here. Our summers are quite hot and dry in Sydney. I've got a Clematis. I believe it's one Clematis. So Ernest Markham, and this is, I think it's been in the ground for less than a year, but budding up already, so I'm very excited about that. I might need to move the spring iris, the spring bulb at the back. Excuse me, Benji. And I've got 2 bush roses here, 1 and 2, which are the same, and they are heaven on earth. And let me tell you, these are stunning roses, very little issues with health. They're pretty good, and they're just beautiful. They smell divine. They change colour. They're like an apricot colour with a pink tinge, if I haven't forgotten. Special occasion, Clematis is blooming right now. It's incredible. It's just stunning. So looking forward to that, and that's a year old coming around here. I've got Amnesty International. From memory, I believe this may be a yellow rose. I did heavily spray this because of the aphids on here, as you can see. So this is why I took the lime sulfur out. You can just see all the aphids. Okay, so I've got another Clematis, I believe. Yeah, yes, that's a Clematis. I couldn't tell you what this Clematis is. Actually, I lie. There's one Clematis, and this is it. It's the Venosa violacea. Again, not good with pronunciation, but it's one that's down here in the base of this climbing rose. This here that you see is actually a kiwi berry. I thought it had died, and I just stuck it in here, and guess what? It's come alive. All right, I've got a couple of standards again. I'm trying to pick up speed. Oh, these are Madame Delbard and stunning pink roses. So I've mirrored that against, just at the front of this arbor. This is a bigger arbor that I have that walks into basically where my veggie patch are, the raised gardens, veggie gardens, and the mulberry, Shutuk mulberry tree. So that's Madame Delbard, and that's looking pretty healthy. And these two here are the beautiful Boscobel, like David Austin's Boscobel. Oh, just stunning, stunning blooms. And over on this side, finally, the last rose is Olivia Rose Austin. I've got Princess Diana Clematis on this side, and an unknown Clematis on this side. No label, so I'm not too sure which Clematis that one is, but we'll find out. But yeah, again, health-wise, they did suffer a lot. I didn't have irrigation put in, so you know, I am getting some lateral shoots, but I definitely, you'll see just these new lateral shoots that are popping up, which is great. But you can see the extent of the damage just here. So again, I'll keep an eye on these and look after them as much as possible. And the good news is I am getting irrigation put in a few weeks' time, so I'm looking forward to that. And that way I can then get into some sort of maintenance routine and learn how to best maintain and look after the health of my garden. So this is it for now. Again, the garden is in its true glory. It's absolutely nowhere near perfect, but it's perfect to me. You can see I've got lots of tasks still to do. This is what I call my shade garden. This is a Montana Clematis that I have just on this arch. I think there are two different Montana Clematis, and my plan is to have it grow on the pomegranate tree here and along the wires along the fence, just to cover the ugly green fence. And that's it for now. Thank you for watching. If you've stayed this long, I do understand and appreciate if you have been watching. It has been a long video. I do apologise, but it's the first time I'm actually walking through the roses in my back garden. I do have plenty more roses up the front of my garden and on the side, but I will go through those in another video shortly, because ideally what I'd like to do, and I've learnt from a lot of you overseas, is that these videos are great as record of what the garden looks like at different stages of or seasons of the year. So I'm pretty excited to see how this garden evolves. And again, do excuse my mess. but this is gardening. So thank you very much for listening, watching and following me. If you haven't already, please subscribe and like the video and share with your friends. If there are anything else or of interest that you see and you want to know of, please feel free to message me. And thank you again. Take care.